Hi, recovery mom. We're hanging out waiting to see if Eva passes her driver's test. FYI, driver's test watch, she missed it last time by one. So we're taking it again. Also, like 3 weeks out from COVID, so I feel like shit. It is what it is. I'm gonna feel like shit for a while, I think. So we're just gonna deal with it. So I have this question. It says, how do you deal with weight gain? I see it in my face, my stomach, my thighs. My family say I haven't changed. I'm confused. So a couple things are going on here. When you have anorexia, three hallmark things happen to you, right? Your neurotransmitters and hormones change in such a way to make you have an aversion to certain foods, fear foods. You start becoming afraid of fats, high calorie foods, anything that might put weight on you, get afraid of. You start wanting to move your body a lot more than normal. That is also due to neurotransmitter and hormonal changes that are happening in your body. Those are on my website. I made a pamphlet. You can go look at that. The hormonal changes make you want to move your body a lot more than you should. And that's so that we can migrate effectively in times of famine. Okay. The third thing that happens to us is many of us hallucinate fat stores on our body. Okay. So we see ourselves as bigger as we really are. And there's a good reason for that. If we were migrating and if we were in a famine and we had to migrate a really long way, if we really saw ourselves as emaciated as we were, we would never make the trip. We would never feel confident enough. We would just give up and probably die. So we see ourselves as healthier, more well, and as having more fat stores on our body. And this has been proven with functional brain imaging and things like that. They've shown what anorexics see when they look at themselves in the mirror and what normal people see when they look at themselves in the mirror. And there's a difference. So now that you know this, you have to put your faith in someone else. If the other people in your life are saying, you have not changed, your body is the same, you have to put your faith in someone else. You have to know that your brain is not seeing things clearly. It's just not. Your neurotransmitters are flipped in the wrong way and your brain chemistry is off and your brain cannot see yourself the way you really are. You have to trust those people in your life that are telling you that. Also, when it comes to accepting your body, you just have to remember a small body for you means anorexia. Some people get to live in a small body, and I know that sucks and that's not what you want to hear, but some people just do and they don't have an eating disorder and whatever. That's life. Life for us means if we want a small body, we have to have anorexia. We don't want to live with anorexia. Anorexia sucks. So you have to accept weight gain because it comes with freedom from anorexia. Okay, so every time you see a bigger body part, remember, for you to have that small body part, you have to have anorexia. We don't do that shit anymore. We're getting rid of anorexia. We're getting it. Hi. Let's talk about how much we should eat when we are recovered. So this is very interesting because as someone with an eating disorder, I'm guessing you want me to say 2,000 calories. 1,800 calories, 2,500 calories, blah, 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 blah. Or 2,000 calories, and then if you're going to exercise, 2,500 calories, and then, Here's how much you eat when you're recovered. You eat everything you think about eating, okay? So I'm recovered, and this is how I eat. I wake up, if I'm not immediately hungry, oftentimes I'm not immediately hungry in the morning. That is okay. When I was in recovery, I had to eat breakfast every morning, and I did without fail. I had to do that to reset my hunger fullness cues. I had to do that to get rid of the famine that was in my head. I had to do that. Now, if I wake up and I'm not hungry for breakfast, sometimes I won't have breakfast right away. I'll just have coffee or something. Sometimes I wake up and I'm hungry and I grab something. So I might wake up, I might not eat something right away, maybe an hour goes by and I start thinking of food. That's kind of how I know personally when I'm getting hungry. Sometimes my stomach will grumble, but usually my brain just starts going, I wonder what we have for breakfast in the kitchen. I wonder if we still have any, sausage or in the freezer. I wonder if we have, and I start thinking about what we might have. And then I go make something. And sometimes I eat it all. Sometimes I don't eat it all. Sometimes, usually I'm pretty good now at portioning out my food. Sometimes I eat too much. That's perfectly normal. Sometimes I eat my whole breakfast and I'm like, oof, that was a little too much. My stomach is way too full. All of that is just information for your brain to make a better choice next time when it comes to food. There is no overeating, undereating. It's all just information that we're feeding our brain, right, in order to sustain our body. So how much I eat in a day is I might have that for breakfast, and then another hour or two goes by, I might walk by and see a piece of fruit or a piece of candy or a piece of chocolate, and I might just grab it. Okay. What I eat in a day is what some days it might be 4,000 calories. Some days it might be 2,000 calories, okay? What it turns out to be is whatever your body asks for. So that might mean some days I eat nothing but fatty fast food, 3 meals. That's okay. I might wake up and have an egg McMuffin, then I might have a Big Mac meal, then I might have like pizza for dinner. That's what my body asks for. Another day I might wake up and have an apple for breakfast, a salad for lunch, and like whatever. It's just what your body wants. If I said no to any of those things, I would be restricting. So what it comes down to is your body will tell you how much to eat once you're. Hi. It's recovery mom. I have this message. I am on vacation, sunny California. I have this message from, I don't know who it's from. And it says, can extreme hunger be physical, or can it also be mental too? So let's talk about this. Extreme hunger and mental hunger technically are two different things, okay? So extreme hunger is like the insatiable feeling that you get when you feel like a bottomless pit, okay? Mental hunger is what happens when you're constantly thinking of food, okay? So like extreme hunger would be I just ate a pizza and I need a Big Mac meal. Okay, that is extreme hunger. Mental hunger comes in many, many different categories. Mental hunger can be I'm sitting here thinking about the Mexican sweetbread in the kitchen. Mental hunger. Mental hunger can be flipping through recipe books. Mental hunger can be watching what I eat in a day videos. Okay, that's often mental hunger. If you're watching those, hopefully you're usually eating with them. Mental hunger can be exercising, thinking of needing to exercise. All of those things fall under the mental hunger category, okay? So mental hunger and extreme hunger can be mental. There's a mental aspect to it, right? Because you're thinking of food as you're eating the pizza, you're thinking of eating the hamburger, right? That's mental. So extreme hunger can just be physical. It can just be mental. Sometimes you can have extreme hunger and you are so bloated and full, right? So the physical aspect isn't there, but your brain is thinking of food constantly. So it's like a mental aspect, okay, to your extreme hunger. You could also kind of like be blocking out food because you've been blocking it out so long, you're just trying not to think about it, but instead your stomach is just going crazy for more food. So it can be both, it can be one, but here's the thing. You have to eat when either of them happen. You have to eat when you're thinking of food. You have to eat when your stomach wants food. It's what it all comes down to is that it really doesn't matter which one of these it is, because what matters is that you need to give in and eat no matter which one it is. You have to eat the food. Hi, Carver Mom. So I have this question about skin. And eating disorders are fascinating with how many things they affect. They affect everything in your body, right? So, is it normal when I'm in recovery for my skin to get really itchy? I don't, I remember my skin getting very dry and kind of itching because it was dry. So, I don't know if that's what you mean. My skin was dry because I didn't have enough fats and oils to keep my skin right nice. We're literally malnourished, and when you're malnourished, there's no way you could keep your skin healthy. So that's why my skin was really dry. So I'm not sure if that's the kind of itchy you're talking about, or if you feel like you're having some sort of like a weird reaction during recovery to like eating or something. So I don't really have a good answer to this. My skin was very dry. It definitely, the problem was definitely solved when I added a bunch of fats into my diet. Eating a lot of fats over a long time really helped my skin. But I wanted to throw this question out there. So maybe some people in the comments, somebody else already responded and said that they get very itchy skin, but only at night. So I thought I would just pop this on TikTok and see if anybody had some thoughts, except for my thoughts, because my favorite thing about this account is how many of you guys connect in the comments and help each other, because peer support, hands down, more helpful to my recovery and many people's recovery than many triggering professionals are. So if anybody has any thoughts on this, pop it in the comments. Hi, everyone. I have a question on this lovely summer day about purging through exercise. Most specifically, how do you cope with not purging through exercise? And the way you do it is how you cope with stopping any other purging, okay? And I'm not going to lie and say it's going to feel wonderful on the other side or whatever, because it's just like any other thing. It's just like purging through laxatives. It's just like purging through, throwing up or vomiting or whatever. We get some sort of relief. We get some sort of release. We get some sort of feel good, right? When we do these things that we do to purge. Okay. And nothing, I always feel bad saying this, but in my opinion, nothing is going to feel that good. You cannot replace it. So you can replace it when you're trying not to do it, but you can't replace it with something that's going to feel as good. No amount of Netflix, no amount of sitting at the park, no amount of reading a good book, curling up with a warm blanket is going to feel as good as purging ever did. I'm just going to say that. That said, that doesn't mean we get to continue to do it. That doesn't mean it's good for us, healthy for us, okay for us to do. It is not. It's something that we need to stop. It's an eating disorder behavior, and we want to recover. So we can no longer do it anymore. How I coped with it was the same way that I coped when I stopped purging. I just didn't do it one day, and I cried, and I was sad, and it was horrible, and it felt bad. I remember the day that I quit the gym. I went out in the car and I cried in the car. And I cried in the car and I cried and I cried and I was mad. And I tended to get not just sad, but angry and mad. I was pissed. Everybody else gets to go to the gym. Other people get to go to the gym and they're fine. I don't get to go to the gym. And it sucked and it was horrible. And I had to mourn that. And I sat with it. Then the next time I wanted to run down the street, climb up and down my stairs 100 times, and I stopped myself, I had to sit with it. Usually I just sat down, sat with the feelings. I often cried. I got really angry. If anyone was around, they were the brunt of my anger. That's how you deal with it. You just sit with those feelings of horror and guilt and sadness and anger, and you realize when you get through those feelings that nothing bad happened, okay? And now you're one step closer to being recovered. So then the feeling hits again, and you want to work out again, and you want to run again, and you don't do it, and you sit with it. And those bad feelings are a little bit less, and you sit with them and you don't do it. You come out the other side again and you're closer to recovered again. And you do that again and you do that again until those feelings. Hi. Recovered mom. I just got up, looking pretty tired. And I thought I'd answer a question. And it said, it's a really good question. Did you go on walks during recovery or did you exercise? Okay, what's your opinion on this? So everybody is going to be a little bit different, but here's what I would say. For me personally, I had to quit all movement, okay? I was one of those people that went to the gym multiple times a day. I was in the gym on Easter. I wanted to go to the gym on Christmas. Like, I was at the gym all the time. So I had to quit the gym completely. Not only did I have to quit the gym, but I had to quit everything, because what happened was when I did quit the gym, I started doing more at home. I started running up and down my stairs. I started doing sit-ups. I started doing all these things at home to counteract the fact that I was no longer going to the gym. My body was just like forcing me to do this. So I had to quit all movement. I also had to quit taking walks, because here's what would happen. I would start to take my poor dog. My dog is very chonky, very heavy and kind of hairy. And so he likes to walk and meander, but he's not a dog that runs. And I would decide to take him for a walk, and I would go maybe a block, and my body would just feel like it wanted to like move and run. And I can remember thinking, we're just walking, we're just taking a leisurely walk. And then I would start moving a little more and a little more. And pretty soon I was running down the street with my poor dog like a crazy person. So I could not walk, because my walks turned into runs. They turned into going too far. It turned into something that I had to do to eat. If I wanted to have breakfast, I should take a walk, right? A walk is nice. Everybody needs to take a walk. It's good for your health. That's what we should do. For my brain would just use it as a way to deserve food, or get to eat, or to have extra, or to have more. Or there was just something inside of me that caused me to have to run and move more than was good for my body. So for me, to turn off that genetic component of anorexia in my head, I absolutely had to stop walking, had to stop moving, and even learning how to sit was really difficult. I can remember having to sit and time myself for like 15 minutes. You're going to sit for 15 minutes, turn on a timer. And I would force myself to sit for 15 minutes. It was hard, it was horrible, and it was painful, but it pays off, because now I'm recovered. So yes, stopping all movement is... Hi, recovery mom. This message says, I'm in recovery and I'm very hungry, but I can only eat foods that I really desire. I have to be mentally hungry or I won't be able to eat anything. So I kind of hit a phase like this in my recovery where I felt like it wasn't worth it if I didn't really mentally desire it, right? What a waste of calories if we don't actually massively desire to eat something and want to eat it. What a waste, right? What's the point? The point is, if you don't do it, you're not going to fully recover, right? Because right now, your hunger cues aren't going to lead you into eating enough food to recover. So, yes, it's wonderful to really desire and want to eat food and eat food that we're really craving, but also we need to learn how to eat food eat food, you know, instead of what we're feeling, eat food mechanically. We have to learn to eat food for those reasons also. So what I would say is maybe set some alarms. Maybe wake up, have a granola bar, set an alarm for 2 hours later. If you haven't eaten within that 2 hours, when that alarm goes off, you have to eat something, because you have got to get used to eating multiple times a day and all the time. And that's how you're going to recover. Now, if what you're saying is, I eat, recovery mom, I eat all day, I eat multiple times a day, I eat 6 times a day, I eat plenty of food, it's just only what I mentally desire. I can't eat other things. Like, I don't know. Is that really a problem? Maybe that if you're eating 3,500 calories plus every day without fail, but it's only things you really desire, is that really a problem? I don't know. You have to ask yourself that. Do you really want to be eating those other things? Is it getting in the way of you being able to spend time with friends and family and do things you want to do? Then yes, that's something you need to tackle. Maybe it'll work itself out on its own when your body repairs itself and your hormones and neurotransmitters settle. That's entirely possible too. So I guess it would depend on, is it getting in the way of your regular eating, and you're eating enough and you're eating multiple times all day long? If it's getting in the way of that, you need to tackle it. And the way you tackle it is by doing it, starting small. Eat a piece of toast, eat something small that you don't desire. Let that sit. You're fine. Nothing bad happened. and then move on to eating something else, okay? But if it's not getting in the way of your life and you're eating over 3,500 calories a day, I would wonder if maybe it'll work itself out later with time, okay, as your hormones and neurotransmitters settle. But if it's getting in the way of what you want to do all day, the way you want to spend time with friends, getting in the way of restaurants, then yes, you do have to tackle it. Hi, recovery mom. Hi. I'm sitting in the backyard in California, and I just woke up. So there's an air conditioning unit on. There's a dog. We'll see if we can get through a question. If you're almost weight restored and you're starting to eat fear foods and you eat more, will you gain too much weight? I think I'm too late eating fear foods. What I think this person means, and this is something that happened to me, fascinating. What I think this person means is here's what happens. Sometimes we start recovery, okay? We eat a lot of food, we gain weight, and we're not done by any means eating our fear foods. We're not done by any means like eating regularly, maintaining. And we all of a sudden panic because we've gained weight and we have so much more to do. And so then we're like, oh, fuck. If I do all this work, then my weight's really going to go crazy. If I've already gained some weight and I have all these fear foods to go, I have all this eating to do, I'm going to gain so much weight. This is not okay. This is not normal. This is not, and panic happens over fear of weight gain. So here's the thing I promise you. If you eat all your fear foods and you eat breakfast and you eat every few hours and you eat all day and you eat every day, you will gain weight. You're going to gain weight. You were in a smaller, malnourished body. What I promise you is that you will gain to your set point. You might gain a little bit of overshoot, but overshoot falls back off if you stay recovered over time. You will end at your body's set point, at the weight that was meant for you, okay? Is it going to be the small weight that you were hoping for during your eating disorder days? No, no. You needed anorexia to maintain that weight. You needed an eating disorder to maintain that weight. So that's not where you're going to land, okay? Where you're going to land is your set point. But here's the thing about your set point. Your set point brings you freedom. It brings you a life without your eating disorder. It brings your relationships back. You get to eat food again. You get to enjoy vacations again. You get to have conversations without calculating other things up in your head. So yes, you are probably going to be in a bigger body. Is it going to be too big for you? No. It's going to be a perfect size body for you. Hi, recovery mom. And this message makes me very happy. And I actually commented on it already, but I wanted to share this because it's such a positive thing. It says, my dietitian just told me to be eating 800 plus calorie meals and to honor my extreme hunger on top of those meals, and I'm struggling with the guilt after that. And of course, what I'm going to say is, holy fuck, there's a dietitian out there that gets it. Like, I get so many messages. We hear so much, and you're in the community, you're watching all of these, you're watching other creators, all the triggering dietitians that are out there and therapists and the dietitians that say, oh, just eat this, just eat 3 meals a day, be careful, don't overeat, you're going to turn into a binge eater. There's those dietitians out there. So I just wanted to put this on here and say, what a breath of fresh air to have a dietitian that gets it. Like, having a dietitian like this is the difference for many people between recovering and not recovering. So I love your dietitian. Like, honestly, yes, you need to be eating 800 plus calorie meals. And yes, if that's not enough, if you eat that Big Mac meal and you want another corn dog and fries, you need to go get that corn dog and fries. If you want to go get that Sour Patch Kids slushie from Sonic and you have the means and the ability to get it, Yes, get it. In fact, I want one of those very bad. We don't have a Sonic where I live. There's a Sonic here. So I've literally been dreaming of the Sour Patch Kid slushie. So I'm going to get one. Anyway, yes, yes, yes. I love this dietitian. I love this advice. So many people are afraid to eat to their extreme hunger. And when a professional comes into your life and says, maybe you shouldn't, maybe that's too much, maybe it's going to turn on binge eating, that's just what anorexia needs to hear for you to run back. These are the kind of dietitians that we need. These are the kind of people that you need to surround yourself with when you have an eating disorder. And if this is not your dietitian, this is not your therapist, then if you have the means and capability to look for a new one, go for it. If you don't, we have to educate them and we have to recover on our own, and we can do that too. We can do that too. Okay. So, yes, I'm super happy. You need to be eating. Respond. Would you respond to this and let me know how you're doing and let me know how your dietitian is doing? Because this is actually the happiest message I've had in a while. So, have a good day. Hi, it's Recovery Mom. And I have a question about quasi recovery. And it says, did you ever feel stuck in recovery or quasi? I gained some weight, but not enough. Most people think I'm much better, but I'm very consumed by my ED still. And this is many, many of us. And yes, it was absolutely me also. So this is so common because what happens is people see you very, very sick and not eating, right? And then you start eating some, you start gaining some, and then the people around you are like, ooh, okay, they're better, right? They're much better. Look, they're eating. They've gained some weight. They must be doing amazing, right? And also, you start feeling a little bit better about yourself because you're eating a little more, right? You're eating more fear foods, you're eating out more, you've gained some weight, and you're like, okay, things are better than they were. And quite likely, many people get stuck here for a very long time. Some people kind of get stuck here forever and they like waffle back and forth between this quasi spot, and then they'll get really sick again. Then they'll come back to this quasi spot, and then they'll get really sick again. And so, one, I'm so happy that you realized that you're here. I'm so happy that you noticed that you're kind of stuck in this, like, not quite recovered, but not super sick anymore. You're able to eat. You're just kind of stuck. The thoughts are still there because you're not fully recovered. So, yes, it happened to me. I was there for like a year. It happens to most of us, okay? So, it's up to you now to get out of it. And you get out of this quasi spot the same way that you get out of your sick spot, okay? You have to push yourself to eat more, most importantly, to gain more. You have got to gain more weight because likely what's going on is you're just under your set point. You've gained some, you're eating some, but you're not quite there. You're afraid of your true natural set point. So you're staying a little bit under that set point. You're staying a little bit restrictive, a little bit under where your body wants to be. So those thoughts are always going to be there, okay? So likely one, you have some more gaining to do. So you have to come to terms with that and you have to start gaining that last little bit, okay? And along with that, sometimes when people get to this point, they kind of haven't done some work around their bigger body and diet culture and fat phobia. And so they're still afraid to live in this bigger body. So maybe really think about what a bigger body gives you, okay? And it gives you freedom from your eating disorder. And that's exactly. Hi, it's Recovery Mom. I have a comment that said, I've been in recovery 3 months. Great job. Wonderful work. And I've gained a lot of weight. Wonderful. Great job. That's exactly what you need to be doing. And I feel overweight. Super common, super normal. We all feel that way when we gain that weight. Our bodies and our brains are not used to it yet. Trying to feel good in my body and do a lot of self. And they go on to say they're trying to do a lot of, self-talk and work on their body around feeling good about it, but it's just not working. How do you learn to feel good in your body? How do you learn to get used to the weight gain? For me, For me specifically, I can kind of only talk about what helped me, and if you have other ideas, you can pop them below. For me, getting used to weight gain was really difficult. I gained a lot in the beginning. It was horrific. And then I gained like 5 pounds, 5 pounds, 5 pounds, 5 pounds from the middle to the end. Okay. And every time I gained that weight, I was mad, I panicked, I was angry, I had to buy new clothes. Just, it was a whole ordeal. Okay. But every single time I gained some weight, I had a pretty similar, okay, pretty much the same conversation in my head. I had to be like, hey, I gained this weight. I'm uncomfortable. I'm angry. I'm mad. I hate my body. It's horrible. Why can't I recover into those small bodies like everybody else I see on Instagram? Why can't I recover into those little bodies? I want to recover into that. This is not fair. Maybe I'm not right. Maybe I need to lose some more. This can't be right. Whole conversation. And then I have to remind myself of my choices. And you have to remind yourself of your choices. So here it is. Your choice is to live in a smaller body with anorexia or a bigger body without. It's just that simple for us. We don't get to live in that tiny body without anorexia. Some people do. There's some people out there, they can restrict their food daily and still eat in a deficit and not have an eating disorder. They can do that. It wouldn't be fun, right? They're still restricting, and that's not fun. But some people can do that. Me and you, we have an eating disorder. We can't do that. So our choices are quite literally bigger body without an eating disorder or a little body with an eating disorder. So you have to choose. And I know you've lived in that little body with an eating disorder and you know how miserable it is. So you're going to choose the bigger body. And the thing is, once you live in that bigger body long enough, for me, it took about a year when I got to my set point weight. I finally really started embracing the fact that I didn't have an eating disorder. Because honestly, a bigger body is nothing compared to the misery of living with that eating disorder. And you know that. And also, get all those skinny bodies off your feed. Maybe you can put them back later, but right now you cannot be looking at skinny bodies. You cannot be looking at recovery counts with little people. If you feel this way, you need to get rid of them on your feed. And you need to accept that your bigger body is the one that brings you freedom and a life without an eating disorder.